Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you're doing well. I just had the inspiration to come on and do a quick video. Usually, like when I get these little hits of intuition, I'm like, oh, I have to do a video about that. So, but honestly, I've done a few videos I've tried to upload and I'm being censored or shadow banned, which indicates to me that I'm definitely speaking truth. But we are living in a dictatorship right now, people. And if you don't understand what's going on, I highly recommend that you be more aware of what's happening, because censorship is not okay. Any censorship in any form is not okay. But, aside from that, what I was just thinking and feeling was, how this new narrative that's starting to unfold. And the new narrative is, let's blame the unvaxxed for the increase in C cases, right? Or, it's the unvaxxed that are sick in the hospital. This is the new narrative going around right now. And I've been hearing people talk about it. And I'm like, wow, like that is so not true. That is just another mainstream media manipulation of what's really going on. And if you actually take the time to look into what's really going on, you'll understand that that's just a distraction to keep you not seeing what's really going on. In fact, it's the opposite. It's the vaxxed, the double vaxxed that are sick and catching C19 and spreading it. And the majority, in fact, the recent articles I read a few days ago, that 79% of the people in the hospitals right now are double vaxxed. So, anyways, I don't want to even get into that debate because whatever. I mean, it's up to everybody to do their own research and find the truth. But what I wanted to talk about was how this new narrative is creating another divide. Okay, because this to me is the ultimate problem. Okay, this is the problem, the underlying problem in everything that's wrong in humanity. Okay, it's always been about creating a divide between groups of people. All right, pitting religious groups against other religious groups, medical beliefs against other medical beliefs, gender beliefs against other gender beliefs. It's always pitting one against the other. And the reason this has been done is because when you divide people, you can easily control them. The famous saying, divide and conquer? United we stand, divided we fall. And this is so true. Because when you come united as a large group, you are so powerful. And they don't want people to stand up and be powerful. They want people to be weak and easily controlled. And by creating all of these divides in society, pitting different groups against different groups, it's separating people further and further apart into smaller and smaller groups. Therefore, they're easier to control. That's really what it's all about. Virus aside, because I don't want to get into it, but to me, this virus is nothing more than just a flu. But it's been used as a catalyst to perpetuate fear and divide among the people. And every step of the way, it's been nothing but fighting between people. And at the end of the day, I truly believe, the truth is out there, okay? The truth is out there for you to see and for you to find. But it is up to each person to do the work, to take responsibility for themselves and actually do the work, ask the questions, do the research. So if you're still watching mainstream media, you're not getting truth, okay? But this is the divide as well. It's the people who watch the media against the people who don't watch the media. And, they say this and then no, they say this. So the divide is the problem. And, I'm tired of arguing. I'm tired of fighting with people. I'm tired of, seeing this happen, because that's been the end goal. And actually, the end goal is really to control humanity and enslave them. And we're heading that way, because you may not realize it, but our rights and freedoms have been getting taken away the last year and a half. And people don't see it, but it's been happening. And, we're heading into another lockdown in the fall, whether you know it or not, or whether you're ready for it or not. We are. It's going to happen. It's just how the narrative's been rolling out. They've been predictive programming people. Oh, the cases are going up again, and oh, this. And, I think in the interior, they've reinstated the mask mandate again for indoor. So it's coming, right? But my question is, we can keep fighting about what's wrong and right, or we can look within ourselves and ask the questions. What's really going on? And what can we do to get through this? Because viruses are a part of our environment, and we've always lived with viruses. It's not going anywhere. So if you think that things are going to get better, they're not. And you need to come to a place where you're like, okay, we just have to learn how to live with it, just like we learned how to live with the flu or any other disease that's been around. And it's ultimately everybody's responsibility to keep themselves healthy. And it's no one's responsibility to keep you healthy. I'm so sick of people saying, well, we all have to do this for everyone's safety. It's like, no, we don't. You do what you have to do for your safety, and I'll do what I have to do for my safety. Okay? We have to take responsibility. And that's another issue, with the divide and conquer. But another issue is at the root trauma of society is that nobody takes responsibility for themselves anymore. Nobody does. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always blame somebody, point the finger at somebody, and never taking responsibility for your own self and your own choices. Because when it comes to health, you're responsible for your own health. And you choose what you put in your body. You choose what you eat. If you're eating crap, if you're eating takeout, processed food, sugar, pop, alcohol, if you smoke, those are choices you're making for your own health. And there's repercussions that come with those choices, but it's no one else's responsibility to keep you safe and healthy. But yet you've given your power away, and then you expect the healthcare system or the government to help you. Do you see the oxymoron in that, by the way? So you're scared of a virus that you're willing to take an unknown experimental treatment to keep you healthy and safe, and yet you're going to turn around after that and you're going to go down the street and get takeout food or drive through. I'm sorry, but that's the absolute most bullshit thing I've ever heard of. And then you have the nerve to turn around and point other people who actually take care of themselves that are choosing not to take this. I'm sorry. No, you don't have that right. I'm sorry. You don't. You do you, and other people do other people. Everybody has their own responsibility in their health. But if you truly believe in this jab and you take it, then you should be okay with that. What does it matter if other people don't take it? You've made a choice to take something because you think it's going to keep you healthy and safe. So be okay with that choice. Right? Like, this divide and conquer bullshit has to stop. It really, really has to stop. Honest to God. Like, I choose to eat healthy. I choose to exercise. I choose to meditate. I choose to take supplements and herbs. I see holistic doctors. I do everything that I can to keep myself and my body healthy. Therefore, I trust in what God has given me as my immune system to keep me healthy as well, because I've done what I had to do to keep my body healthy. So I'm trusting that my immune system is going to work. And I don't need to inject myself with something that is purely experimental at this point. That is a choice that I made because I'm taking responsibility for my health. I've also done the research. I don't like what I see regarding the jabs and what's in them and the side effects and the uncertainty. So I've made a choice for my own health, my own body. And I'm okay with that. But I don't expect anybody to do anything to keep me safe. So take your jabs and be okay with that. But turning around and shaming people because they don't, that has to stop. That is perpetuating divide. You are perpetuating control. You are perpetuating a very dark, energy. Control over somebody else is very dark. Nobody has control over anybody. We don't even have control over our own kids. We think we do, but we don't own them. We don't own our children. We guide them. We make sure that they stay safe, but ultimately we do not own our children. They also have free will too. And as a teenager or as a young adult, it is not, my job to force my child whether to take the jab or not. It is ultimately up to them because they're their own person. So I hear so many parents, in fact, my son has some friends who didn't want to take the jab, but their parents forced them to. That is absolute ridiculousness. Forcing anybody to take something against their will is just wrong. It's wrong. And karma comes with that. When you force someone to do something against their will, there's karma that comes with that. Because you've taken that person's free will and free choice away from them. You're not God. You don't own them. Let everybody do what they have to do for themselves. Right? Now, I'm very grateful that my children are awake and aware to what's going on, and we have these conversations, and, they're open to learning, and, I don't force my kids to not or to do or to not do anything, but they're aware because they've read the information, and they're discerning for themselves what feels right and what doesn't, and they know that there's something weird about these jabs. They don't want to take a chance. They're like, I don't feel comfortable because it's so new and I want to wait and see what happens. I'm like, great. Because they're asking questions and they're reading information that's not on the mainstream. And I'm so grateful that they are able to use their mind to ask questions and do their research. So they're basing their decisions on their own free will and free choice. And I respect them for that. But if I forced my kids to do or not do something, then I'm basically infringing on their free will. Do you understand? And it goes the other way too. Like, if you feel the jab is good, take it, but don't force your kids to take it. This is something that, humanity has to stop. This controlling other people. It's abuse. It actually is abuse. When you try to control someone, you are abusing your power over them, especially if they're young or vulnerable. You are abusing them. That is a narcissistic behavior when you try to control somebody's free will and free choices. Society has been abused. We've been abused by our government. We've been abused by all the, societal structures and corporations. We've been told what to do. We've been told what we have to do. And that's abuse. But we are so traumatized in this collective abuse that we don't recognize it as abuse. And so we give away our power and we just do what we're told because, well, we have to. But you don't have to do anything you don't want to. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. If it makes you feel uncomfortable, don't do it. It's your choice. And this whole thing that we're in right now is a test of humanity's free will. It really is. On a spiritual level, we are going through a spiritual war right now. We are being tested by God. Where do you stand? Do you stand in your sovereignty? Or do you stand in giving away your power and your freedoms? And again, there's no judgment, there's no right or wrong, but it depends on what it is you want. And at a soul level, you know what it is that you want. You just need to listen to your soul. Because I think we've forgotten to listen to ourselves. We've forgotten to connect with that part of ourselves that's connected to Source, God. We've been pulled so far away from that we don't hear ourselves anymore. We doubt ourselves. We listen to other people instead of listening to ourselves. This is where intuition is really important, Start tapping back into your intuition, because your intuition is your soul telling you what you really need to do for you. Not someone else, for you. So I just wanted to share that because, this narrative that's unfolding right now is causing a lot of tension and a lot of divide, and it's being done on purpose. So you can either partake in it and continue to perpetuate the divide and hate and anger, or you can respect everybody's free will and come together in unity instead. Why can't we all just respect each other? Why can't we all just stand in unity and be okay with people's choices? I just don't understand, but I do understand, but my heart breaks to see how far apart families and friends are becoming over this. There's families that have broken up and friendships that have fallen apart, and maybe, I do have the belief that this is all part of the greater good, and maybe it was supposed to be that way. But, families that are threatening, like, well, you're not allowed to see my kids if you don't get jabbed, or you're not allowed to come over to my house if you don't, come on. Where is the love? Where is the acceptance? Right? Where is the humanity? Where's the compassion? We've lost the ability to have compassion for people. We don't have to agree. We don't have to agree on things, but we have to be able to understand each other. And if a person chooses to do something that you don't agree with, that's okay. It's their choice. You need to unconditionally accept that person. Right? Many of my family and friends have taken this job. I didn't agree with it, and I was upset in the beginning, but you know what? I'm okay with it. I've let it go, and I'm like, well, yeah, it's their body, their choice. And I respect them for that. But the ones that are, calling me all kinds of names, and, I've heard people say that I'm part of a cult, I'm a conspiracy theorist. Seriously, get over yourself. That's just you trying to justify your actions by calling people those names. And again, that's a form of abuse. You're trying to gain control over another person's free will. You don't agree with my choices, that's okay, but you still need to respect them. Right? Agree to disagree. You like blue, I like orange. We don't have to agree on colors, but we can still be respectful to each other, right? Same with religions. Same with different gender preferences. I mean, this is what's happened, is all of these choices have become a war zone between people. And instead of fighting each other, why can't we just be respectful of each other's differences? Because at the end of the day, we're all unique individuals. We are all children of God. We all came from the same place. We all have blood in our body. We are all from the same race. We are all humans. And the division among humanity has been perpetuated and created intentionally. So if you can understand that on a bigger scale, hopefully you'll understand that every time a new narrative gets rolled out by the mainstream, that it's being done so on purpose to create division, to create more fighting. So just think about it. Think about it and discern for yourself what feels right or wrong. But at the end of the day, it is immoral, illegal, unethical, and inhumane to try and control another person and another person's body. You are not allowed to do that. So you do you. Be confident in your choices and what you've done. Be responsible for yourself. Do things and make choices every day that make you healthy, keep you healthy and safe. And don't worry about other people. Because at the end of the day, it really just comes down to you. And nobody's going to save you, and nobody's going to do it for you. Unless you give away your power. And many people have given away their power to higher authorities to make their medical choices for them. Or they've given away their power to, the corporations. And they've bought into the materialism and the commercialism. You give your power away when you let someone else dictate what you do. It's really that simple. On a spiritual level, you come into this world a sovereign being. And, you're controlled your entire life. You're told what to do, you're told what to say, you're told how to act, and this continues from childhood into adulthood. You're told what to do by your bosses, you're told what to do by your friends, society, cultural programming, religious programming, on and on and on. Your governments, your medical system, your schools. I mean, everywhere we go and every part of our life has been controlled. We've been told how to think, what to do, and how to do it. And the few people that see through this and choose to go against the mainstream are, they're called a lot of mean names. But it's because they're different, and being different makes people feel uncomfortable. And people don't want to feel uncomfortable. So they want to control everybody so they can feel safe. Right? That's really what it comes down to. And you can't control other people. You need to learn to accept everybody for who they are and where they are, and be okay with that. And this is the only way that we're going to be able to, raise humanity, raise the consciousness on this planet. Because the war is on our consciousness right now. The divide is about keeping us in a lower vibrational state, to keep us in a perpetual state of fear and anger and hate. But, things are shifting, and it's up to you if you want to shift with it. And the reason why things seem really chaotic in the world is because there is a shift in consciousness happening. There is. We're going through a biblical time right now. our consciousness on the planet is increasing. Mother Earth's consciousness is increasing. And so the more people that stand in their sovereignty, and the more people that come united together and, understand that ultimately it is up to each one of us to make our own choices, we start to raise the consciousness, we start to raise the frequency, individually and collectively. But it's going to take a long time if people continue this perpetual divide and conquer. And we have to stop it. We just have to we have to stop our governments from controlling us. They're overreaching, they're overstepping, they're tyrannical. Governments have always done this. This is nothing new. Just look at history. History is repeating itself again. But are you going to do it different this time? Are you going to stand up and stand in your own sovereignty? Are you going to be responsible for yourself? Are you going to have compassion for people? Or are you going to continue to berate and ridicule and, shame people and have anger and divide and try to control others? I mean, what is it? You have free will, you can choose. I'm choosing sovereignty, and I'm choosing to take responsibility for myself, my life, my choices, my health. It's my life, it's my responsibility, and no one can do it for me. We need to stop blaming each other. We need to stop putting blame on other people. And the reason people blame or project is because they're not willing to look at their traumas, at their flaws. That's really what it is. At the root of it all, when people don't want to take responsibility, it's because it's too painful to look at their own shit, right? And I mean traumas and wounds within, like inner healing, things that happened in childhood, like a lot of unresolved problems and traumas that were experienced in life that are still there, unhealed, but they're manifesting in anger or pain or, hatred. I mean, that's ultimately, it's energy. We're energy beings. And so this energy's trapped in your body and it's perpetuating and manifesting in ways. You need to heal these parts of you. But most people don't want to deal with it. It's too painful to talk about what happened in your childhood or, a traumatic experience that you had. So instead of dealing with it, you're just projecting. You're projecting and you're pointing the finger at somebody else because it's easier to do that than it is to look at yourself. That is why humanity is so angry right now. And, this virus, I think the best thing about this virus is that it has brought a lot of this darkness up to the surface to be seen on a collective level. It's brought up a lot of the evil, a lot of the horrible things that have happened to humanity. We're seeing it unfold. We're seeing it unfold. And there is a lot of fear that's coming up to be seen and felt. We're all feeling it. We're all seeing it. Fear of a virus, fear of death, fear of people. It's all fear, 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 fear. Because fear is it's the lowest vibration that a human can feel. It keeps people locked in really deep. And I'm talking not just this lifetime. This has been hundreds of years, maybe thousands, ancestral. Energetic imprints from previous lives and our ancestral lineage is passed down. So sometimes a lot of the anger and wounds that we carry in this lifetime have been passed down from grandparents, parents, great-grandparents, ancestors. And we hold these traumas in our body, in our DNA. It's like imprints. They're energetic imprints. And they're there. And they're part of the reason why we are the way we are, because we're just continuing the cycle, right? Like a good example is if you come from an alcoholic family, well, that kind of gets passed down, right? From one generation to the next, unless someone decides to break the cycle. And by breaking the cycle, you have to do some healing, right? Same with abuse. If you come from an abusive family, you can choose to continue the cycle of abuse or you can choose to stop it. We all have a choice. We can't blame our families for the way we are, because at the end of the day, we have a choice to change. We have a choice to fix it, right? We can't change our parents. We can't change our family, but we can change ourselves. We can choose to take a different path or a different road. And that ultimately is what's going to help humanity move forward. So as we go through this crazy time, this apocalypse, because that's what we're in right now. We are in the apocalypse. And the apocalypse, all that really means is it's the revealing of information and truths. This is a biblical event. This has been prophesized. It's a revealing of truths. It's a revealing of the darkness within ourselves and the darkness within the collective. All the traumas and abuses that have happened to humanity is coming up to be seen. And it's going to be hard and it's going to be scary, but the only way to deal with it is to face it and to heal it. And only then can you raise your frequency enough where you now can, be more light and help others raise their frequency. And as each of us continue to awaken and heal and raise our frequency, we are bringing Mother Earth up with us, right? Anyways, I just wanted to share that and get that off my chest. But please stop the fighting, stop the dividing,